Donald Trump's gag order has been lifted in the New York civil fraud trial. And if you're wondering how is this game of ping pong going, that there's a gag order, then it's stayed, then there's a gag order and it's reinstated, and it's, all going on. If you're confused about this, I don't blame you. If you recall, Judge Arthur N. Goron in New York State in the civil fraud trial put a very limited gag order on Donald Trump that said, essentially, you can't say things and threaten and harass my court clerk, because Donald Trump was talking about her, posting pictures of her, accusing her of being Chuck Schumer's girlfriend. And it was very much something that was causing this principal law clerk to get harassed and threatened. And she got anti-Semitic and other homophobic and other really, really difficult attacks from people as a result. In fact, there was a filing that was put into the appellate court by Judge Engoron, outlining all of these attacks, right? There was like 275 pages transcribed of the threats, of the 20 to 30 phone calls that she would get on her personal cell phone, or the death threats, or the security that they had to put into place. I mean, and they actually transcribed them all, described them all, and put them into the record. And Jack Smith over the weekend saw that and put that into his record, saying, look, Donald Trump says that his actions don't have consequences, his words don't have consequences. Well, look what was just filed in New York in the civil fraud case, because he's trying to justify his gag order, which has also been paused by an appellate court. So the courts are listening to each other, they're watching each other, and they're seeing what's going on, because there are two different cases with two different gag orders. And up until a few minutes ago, the New York one was on, both of them were on pause. But up until a few minutes ago, now the New York civil one is back in state. It's back reinstated. And let's remember, again, that's the civil fraud trial brought by Attorney General Letitia James, $250 million fraud trial in front of Judge Arthur N. Goron. It's against Donald Trump, his kids, and others. And Donald Trump has already testified. He's going to testify again, I think, next week or the week after. And Judge Engoron imposed this very limited gag order saying, look, you can say what you want about me, but not about my clerk, not about my staff. You can't do that. And Donald Trump's lawyers appealed, and that appeal process, just so everybody understands, is still ongoing. What happened and what was going on here was there was an interim stay. Donald Trump's lawyers asked for the appellate court. They ran to the appellate court and said, can we press pause while we brief this and appeal? Because appeals take a long time, right? Everybody files papers, et cetera. Donald Trump's lawyers didn't just appeal the gag order, but they also personally sued Judge Engoron, and which is kind of unusual. In fact, I don't think I've seen that before. Normally, it's about the parties. They don't typically personally, or you sue the court, but to sue the judge personally, I thought was interesting. But that caused Judge Engoron to do a filing of his own, right? And he responded on his own and talked about the impact. It gave them an opportunity to talk about the impact of Donald Trump's words and postings and Truth Social postings. In fact, just last night, there was a posting where now Trump was bringing Judge Engoron's wife into all of this, which, Trump just doesn't have any shame. He goes after people's staff, after people's families. He's done that with Jack Smith. And so Judge Engoron, I think, just said, look, the orderly administration of justice requires that I be able to protect my court staff. I mean, these are public servants. Who in God's name is going to do this job if they're allowed to be threatened and harassed like this and have their life upended by a defendant in a case? It's highly unusual and, frankly, would never be allowed in any other case.
If you're like me, morning coffee is non-negotiable, but I was tired of either waiting in line for an overpriced cup or settling for gritty, bitter coffee at home. Now I've switched to AeroPress and I'm never going back. It's so easy and convenient and incredibly unique. I never knew coffee at home could taste this good. AeroPress is like a French press, only better. It's the only press that uses a patented 3-in-1 brew technology, combining the best of several brew methods into one portable device for a completely unique and delicious flavor profile. Smooth, rich, and full-bodied without the bitterness and grit found in other presses. And as a bonus, AeroPress can brew thousands of recipes. AeroPress travels better than others too. It's compact and incredibly durable. That means you'll never have to endure terrible coffee at the hotel, on the job, or on an adventure again. It brews and cleans in less than 2 minutes. You just add medium fine coffee grounds, pour in hot water, stir for 5 seconds, brew for 30 seconds, then press into your favorite mug and enjoy. There's a reason why AeroPress is the barista's favorite home brewing tool. AeroPress is the best reviewed coffee press on the planet with more than 55,000 5-star reviews. Thoughtful, proven, and under $50. AeroPress is the perfect gift or stocking stuffer for every coffee lover in your life this holiday season. Don't settle for less than the best. They'll love it. AeroPress is shockingly affordable, less than $50, and we've got an incredible offer for our audience. Visit aeropress.com/Meidas. That's AEROPRESS.com/Meidas to save up to 20%. That's aeropress.com/Meidas to save up to 20%. It's time to ditch the drive-thru, toss the French press, and say yes to better mornings fueled by better coffee. AeroPress ships to the USA and over 60 countries around the world, and we thank AeroPress for sponsoring this show.
And this gag order that was on both, not just Donald Trump, but on his lawyers as well, they appealed, and in the meantime asked for an interim stay, meaning while we're appealing, can you press pause? They got one judge, Judge Friedman, who, by the way, has been reversed before on this particular case. He, for whatever reason, doesn't seem to side on Judge Engoron's. He and Judge Engoron don't seem to see eye to eye, but he keeps getting reversed. Anyway, this one judge pressed pause and said, "Look, I'm going to stay this gag order while we appeal." Well, lucky for Judge Engoron's law clerk and everybody else, there are 4 judges now of the Supreme Court of the state of New York, Appellate Division, First Department, and that's the next level. You go from the trial court to the Appellate Division, and it's the First Department because it's sitting in Manhattan. After that, it goes to the New York's Supreme Court, which is called the Court of Appeals, believe it or not. In New York, the Supreme Court is actually the trial level court. Very confusing for people because you'd think the Supreme Court should be the highest court, but it's not. Anyhow, so the Appellate Division, this interim step, 4 judges. It was Judge Sally Manzanet Daniels, Judge Ellen Gesmer, Judge Sally Ann Scarpula, and Judge Liline, I think it's Yine Rosado. Those 4 judges, I think it's 4 women, they all just did a 2-page order that said, in the matter of the application of Donald Trump and Jr., Eric Trump, Alan Weisselberg, Jeff McConney, etc., for a judgment pursuant to Article 78. So the Article 78, what that is in New York is it means you're appealing during the trial as opposed to an appeal after the trial. It's while the case is going on. You take an Article 78. And it says a petition having been filed with the court on November 15, 2023, seeking to annul and vacate pursuant to CPLR Section 7803, orders of the Supreme Court, New York County, entered on or about October 20th, 2023 and October 26, 2023. Those are the 2 gag orders, right? One to Trump and the parties, and then one to the lawyers, constituting summary findings of contempt against petitioner Donald Trump, a gag order of the same court, and justice entered on this record on or about October 3rd, 2023, and so ordered, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Then they say, now upon reading, it says, and petitioners having moved to stay enforcement of the aforesaid gag order and supplemental limited gag order pending hearing and determination of the instant petition, now upon reading the filings the papers with respect to the motion and due deliberation having been had thereon, it is ordered that the motion is denied. The interim relief granted by order of the Justice of this Court, dated November 16th, 2023, is hereby vacated. So that means the interim relief granted by Judge Friedman, dated November 16th, 2023, is hereby vacated. Signed, Susana Molina Rojas, Clerk of the Court. So that is the very short 2-page order that was just granted, that lifted this gag order, the stay of this gag order. Now the gag order is back in place, and Judge Engoron didn't waste any time because the civil fraud trial is still going on. And he informed the defense attorneys and said, tell your clients the gag order's back on. They said, yeah, we know. And that's that. So stay tuned, stay informed. I'm Karen Friedman Agnifilo, and this is your breaking news. Donald Trump is once again gagged. You can't threaten and harass people. Well done to the courts.
Hey, Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.